A couple of words about the videos that have been going around lately about NGC and PCGS having too much power, and that this is a problem for the coin collecting community in the coin collector hobby.
Yesterday, I watched a video by the Coin Geek about PCGS and NGC having too much power. Well, that is collectors' faults and dealers' faults.
The graders have standards by which they grade coins, and they are accepted standards. The industry, the marketplace, has more or less accepted these graders as the top of the line in the industry, PCGS and NGC, namely, and that they have standards that they have devised to grade coins to help collectors and dealers alike determine their value and trade them at appropriate prices for what it is we're looking at. Now, there's less chaos in the marketplace. There's more order in the marketplace, but they're now being spun up, rightly or wrongly. This might be true. I'm not going to take a position one way or the other that it's true or not, but it's being spun up as a problem or the problem.
About not being consistent anymore. It's a lot less consistent than what it used to be. The reason PCGS and NGC are tops is good marketing, and because dealers and collectors accept them as top grading companies. So there's really not a whole lot you can do about that except stop using them, but that's not going to happen.
But when we're spinning it up that there's a problem, and the problem is that they're too powerful, but the reason that being too powerful is a problem is because they're inconsistent. They might be inconsistent, they might not. If they are inconsistent, and if they are, I think inconsistent is code for inaccurate. So if they are inaccurate, or if they are inconsistent, then that point has to be established. It has to be proven with evidence.
So, but what do you do? What's the solution? So I've got a solution, and this is what I think would be a good idea for me. And I took a few notes here, and I'm gonna kind of read from my notes. So obviously, if you want to start a new grading company to fix this, you want it to be an independent grading company, okay? Meaning it's not connected to dealers, and it's not associated and all that kind of thing. That way you're not, I'm not saying that a dealer can't own it. It's not that kind of thing. I'm talking about where it has to please dealers and collectors and big pockets, that kind of thing.
An independent company where you're not affiliated and you're not connected and you're not associated with any other dealers, that is a temporary benefit at best. I mean, even if you start out that way, and good luck if that's how you're going to start out. But even if you started out that way and you beat the odds and you became successful and you became big, you're going to become affiliated with these other companies eventually. I mean, you're in the marketplace. Why would you not want to be? Why would you want to be standoffish and closed up and not connected to any of these other things? It's just like you're trying to be an island in the ocean. You're trying to be, the be-all, end-all in and of yourselves. If you want to do good and be good for the hobby and be good for the marketplace and the community at large, you're going to want to be connected. You're going to want to be very connected to these other places. You should probably have some good ideas on making some good connections. This type of a message, when we're saying this kind of stuff to coin collectors on YouTube out there, you might have a service or a product that you're trying to sell that you're trying to make money on.
Do you want to see how a computer grades coins? Stay tuned, because I'm going to show you how mintstate.com grades coins. And like I said, you want to just to kind of play around and try to get it within the boundaries as best as possible inside these lines, and then just click check alignment. Allow the system to check your alignment. And it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of funding. Unfortunately, you can't get around paying developers to put all the time it takes into this. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with practicing, okay? And keep trying, and you can do different, like rotate a little bit here or there, and it's very important that you do it, because this system does need good images, and that's just the way it is. The better the image, the better it's aligned, the more accurate the grading is. And it'll take a little bit of time. Sometimes you'll have to click this twice, and until you get a feel for it. That's just, it's kind of it's normal. You can move it back and forth as well, just to kind of see if it's fit inside the outline there. It's going to be worth it. You know, even if it takes time. I mean, if you have a coin, you're kind of questioning, you just kind of want an idea. Yep, there it is. It says alignment adjustment limitation was reached.
You know, you might be trying to push some type of your own coin grading service where you're going to use computers and artificial intelligence to grade coins, and you're going to rely on photographs, and you're going to have to rely on, you know, very tight controls over photographs that people send to you, and you're just going to grade their coins with, you know, computers based on a photograph that they submit to you on a website. Now, I don't know how in the world that's going to solve anything. I think that's just muddying up the waters. It's trying to replace a good product with a who knows what product.
And that leads me to, you know, being nonprofit, not publicly owned. That way, no one's buying stock. You don't have to worry about shareholders and worry about quarterly profits and all that kind of thing. That way, you stick with the fact that funding's coming in because it's going to cost to do it. You can't do it for free, but it has to be some type of nonprofit setup to where a big, you know, the big amount of money that's coming in is for the operating expenses and things like that, but it's not actually to make this huge profit. Okay, it's to pay people to work for the company, and that includes the owners as well. It has to be set up like that. Then there's not that chance that we have to grade so many coins so that we, you know, have a great quarter for this investors and things like that.
Well, this is starting to sound Marxist almost. It's almost kind of starting to sound like an anti-capitalist pitch where, you know, we can't have profitable companies. We can't have people trying to grade as many coins as possible, therefore to maximize their profit, because if they do that, well, then we can't trust them. Then they're either going to have too much power or they're going to be inconsistent, yada, yada. Well, why don't you apply that to your own business, where you're a coin dealer and you're slinging coins, and obviously the more coins you sell, the more profit you make. So, well, that makes, you know, there's a legitimacy problem there. There's an inconsistency problem there. So you have to be a non-profit company where you're not making profit, and all you're doing is it's all for the workers. You know, it's almost like a socialist bent. It's all for the workers and for the owners. Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be not-profit. Just like your business doesn't have to be not-profit. Just like my business doesn't have to be non-profit. You know, you can have good businesses that are profit-bearing companies, and you can have good businesses that are non-profit organizations. It doesn't have to be all of one and none of the other, or all of the other and none of the one. It can be a mixture of both, and both types of companies have their value. They have their advantages. Let's not dictate to other people like what kind of a business that they have to have.
Then it has to be grading standard driven. In other words, a standard for coin grading must be developed in some way, shape, or form, whether you use artificial intelligence and two-layered deep learning. You know, all these graded coins that are out there, they have to somehow, let's say, let's take all the Mint State 63 coins graded, let's say cents, 63, 64, 65. Take every single one of them you can find and scan every single one of them and come up with a baseline based off of human grading. So there you've got this baseline, and if anything falls in or out of that, then you know that there's some inconsistency. Maybe it's a grade low or whatever. But somehow, some way to kind of verify without reasonable doubt that the coin is actually the grade that it is.
PCGS and NGC already have this standard. They already have this baseline. In fact, you can go on YouTube to a video by PCGS called Coin Grading 101, Coin Grading 102, Coin Grading 103. They might have some other subsequent videos after that get into more advanced aspects of grading. They do provide examples. It's a very educational series of videos. I highly recommend them for you to watch. But to act like the coin graders don't have these standards is a little bit ridiculous. Of course they have standards of grading. That's almost like saying that they don't know how to do their jobs. They are the standard of the industry because they do have standards, for better or for worse. It doesn't matter if we agree with it or not, but they certainly have standards, and of course they certainly have baselines for each and every grade of coins that they grade as a part of those standards.
And this company could use accept NX graded coins. It could use ICG and all the grading companies and actually look at the coin, compare it to that baseline that was developed, that standard, and say, yeah, this coin is probably the grade, or no, this coin is not the grade. So it would actually grade coins that are in holders from everybody. It doesn't matter whether it be that daggone IMB or whatever, but still yet it would be able to look at everything, to be able to examine everything. And not saying human graders wouldn't be involved. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying human graders would be involved in this, along with computer-aided help, or I should say I should say artificial intelligence help.
So it sounds like you're just going to take all the coin graders, or at least all the coin graders that you think are legitimate, whether it's PCI or ICG, NX, PCGS, whatever, mix them all up into a great big pot, and then develop a new baseline, a new standard, just from this muddled up mixture of all these different coins and from all these different grading companies. I mean, it just sounds like a mess, and I don't think it's addressing the problem. And it's relying on AI and computer technology to do the grading. So, it is following along on the trend of the marketplace that we have before us, where everything is becoming digitized, everything is becoming automated. People are going to be losing their jobs left and right. There's going to be fewer companies. There's going to be so many less companies in this country in about another 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now than there are today. It's sad. It's sad how many mom and pop businesses, how many small businesses are going to go out of business, how many people are going to lose their lives and livelihoods because of our ever increasing reliance on automation and on robots, machines, computers, AI that's going to totally transform our economy. And it's amazing how much in just the year 2020 that we've become more digitized as a result of this virus. But this is the trend, and I don't see it getting any better. I think it's going to get much, much worse. But to, kind of jump on the bandwagon and say, hey, well, we're going to, throw screwballs to the coin collecting community as well, I don't agree. Again, the solution here is being misdirected into that we're going to take our frustrations out on the graders and we're going to try to replace them with automaton graders. We're going to replace human graders with computer graders. I don't think that's going to solve the problem. I think it's not the graders that are the problem, it's the grading that is the problem. I think people become so reliant upon grading that they lose some of their enthusiasm in the hobby. And I do think there is some blame to go around with dealers and how the dealers themselves are empowering graders like PCGS and NGC. And I hear this all the time in YouTube videos from dealers, just like you, where you'll say things like, well, these price guides, whether it's Numis Media or Redbook or Coinflation or other resources that coin collectors can go to try to find the values of their coins. Well, these values are just for slabbed coins. These are the values that you would get if it's an NGC slabbed coin or a PCGS certified coin. In other words, like if it's a loose coin, if it's a raw coin and you have it and it's the same grade, it might be the exact same coin. It might be a coin that's just as good as the one that's in that PCGS holder. But you've said these kinds of things before. You've said that, well, it has to be in a PCGS or an NGC holder in order to get that kind of money. Conversely, you also say that if a coin is in an NX holder and somebody comes to your shop and they want to sell you this NX MS63 Morgan dollar that they've collected, and they want to get the NGC price. They want to get the PCGS price, and you'll inform this seller that comes into your shop that, oh no, I can't pay you PCGS money. I can't pay you NGC money. You've got this coin in an NX holder. Well, that's where the power is coming from. That's where all the power is coming from. It's not the collector's fault. It starts, in order to take the power back, the collector has to pressure the dealer. The collector has to put the heat and put the fire to the feet of the dealer to say, well, then you're not going to get a sale. If you're not going to get a sale, you're not going to get the coin. I'm going to go somewhere else and I'm going to sell my NX coin. And you have to sit on it. And it might take a little bit longer to sell. And you might have to wait a little bit longer. And you might get a couple of dollars less. But it's up to collectors, it's up to all of us to empower ourselves and to have the power to put our foot down and start to dictate a little bit in this marketplace about what the prices of coins are actually going to be. Let's just pretend for a minute that it doesn't even matter what grading company it is, or if there's any grading company at all that graded this coin. It's just a coin. It's a beautiful Morgan dollar. It's just sitting there. It's not in a capsule. It hasn't been certified. What's the value of this coin? It's the same beautiful coin that you could put into one of those holders, but then, and then on the other, conversely, dealers are also telling us all the time, buy the coin, not the holder, buy the coin, not the holder, buy the coin, not the holder. Well, here you go. I'm going to actually take that advice and I'm actually going to apply it. I'm not just going to pretend like I do. People think that, oh, I'm cherry picking a coin. I buy the coin and not the holder. No, you don't. No, you don't. Not when your wallet comes out and you have to pay for it. You're going to pay for the grade that's on the holder. If it's an MS65 Morgan dollar, you're not going to be paying $65 for it. You're going to be paying $130 for it, and so forth and etc. So you are buying the holder. Now, if that was a raw coin, like Daniel says, and like how many other dealers have I heard this from? I hear it all the time. If it's not in that MS65 PCGS or NGC holder, you're not going to be able to get $130 or $150 or $175 for it. Yes, you're not. It's true, because they have this power. But as long as dealers keep saying over and over and over again, as long as they keep, it's almost like it's a mantra, and they're just parroting the power of that these grading companies have. And so maybe it's not so much the grader's fault. Maybe it's actually the dealer's fault. But as collectors, we need to take the power back. And the way to take the power back is to empower ourselves to be able to make our own decisions, to be able to buy and sell these coins at prices that we find that are acceptable, because it's a coin that we happen to like, because it's a coin that we happen to think is an MS63 or an MS64 or an MS65. And, of course, there's a profit motive. You want to make money on doing that stuff. But I don't think that's the solution to the problem when you come out in the very beginning of your video and blame the collectors and the dealers for the problem. The problem, whatever this problem is. This, the largest coin graders have too much power problem. If it's the fault of the collectors, let's just say that's correct. Let's say that's true. Let's say that it is the fault of the collectors. I'm not going to blame the collectors personally. I don't think it is their fault. But let's just say that it is. Let's say that it is the fault of the collectors and the dealers. Then the solution to the problem is the collectors and the dealers. So if it's a human problem, then it needs to have a human solution. You don't blame the collectors for a problem and then solve the problem with artificial intelligence, quote unquote artificial intelligence. That's really selling it up. I mean, if that's what you're trying to spin this up to be, it's not artificial intelligence. It's just computers. It's a very archaic, it's a very simple way of getting a computer to look at a coin by teaching them over and over through massive repetition that this is what an MS63 looks like. This is what an MS64 looks like. This is what an MS65 should look like. And somehow, all under the visage, or all under this presumption that every single 63 should look the same as every other 63, and it needs to be consistent, and that's impossible. And that's what makes the hobby a beautiful thing. That's what makes the coin collecting hobby interesting and fun and what it is. It's these differences between the coins. These differences between coins need to be celebrated. By trying to whitewash all the differences between the coins and saying, well, it's inconsistency is inconsistency. If you want to make the case that they're inaccurate, if you want to make the case that they are inconsistent, you need to provide evidence and a good body of evidence and make that case. There needs to be some scientific studies being done. It's like you're trying to use science and computer technology to solve a problem. Why don't you apply some random controlled trials? Coin grading is subjective, and I think the top people at PCGS and NGC will tell you this. And that's okay. It's not a problem that we need to fix, but instead of trying to dump a product or a service on somebody and trying to make money on it, let's just let people understand and realize up front that it is a subjective process. You as a coin dealer or you as a coin collector should understand straight up, right up front, that coin grading is subjective. And that solves the problem right there. As long as somebody knows this ahead of time, then they're not going to get burned. Okay? You don't have to go out and buy a coin that's a certain grade from somebody. You have to look at that coin and say, I like this coin. I love this coin. This is a beautiful coin to me, to my eyes. And once you do that, you're fine. You're done. I mean, you're done. The problem is solved. I don't have to sell you anything. I don't have to make money. I don't have to take money out of your pocket and put it into my pocket for anything to solve this problem. All I have to do is teach you up front, ahead of time, that look, this is a subjective thing. It should always be a subjective thing. We should never try to surgically remove the humanity from the coin collecting hobby. Once we do that, we've destroyed the hobby, as far as I'm concerned. It should be subjective, and it should be celebrated because it's subjective. We should love and we should enjoy the differences between coins. I have this coin that I think is choice uncirculated, and you have that coin over there that you think is choice uncirculated. Let's like share our coins together. You look at my coin, let me look at yours. That's what makes this hobby so wonderful and fun and exciting, and hopefully it's going to last hundreds of years to come. But we can't tarnish, we can't muddy up what's already muddy and just muddy up the waters even more with our thing and try to push our proprietary technology. Okay, all of these coins are on a curve. No two coins that have ever been minted in the history of the human race are going to be exactly the same. Coins are all like fingerprints. They're like backbones, invertebrate animals. They're like snowflakes. You need to first, it's not just saying something and makes it true. You can't just keep saying something over and over again. Oh, I'm just going to keep saying. You keep saying it 100 times over again that there's a problem and there's the problem and it's inconsistency and there's too much power and it's You need to make the case. And I don't see a great case. I don't see where these videos are. I see examples and I see some anecdotes, and there is some anecdotal evidence of inconsistency out there, no doubt about it. If I'm honest with myself, in almost all of these cases, I can go back and I can find the reason why they're probably the grade that they are. I don't think that there's a problem beyond the pale. And this goes for Annex and other graders as well, too. I don't think that there's a problem beyond the pale with any of these companies that we need to solve the problem. But if there is a problem and it does need a solution, the solution needs to start and end with us. If you put the blame on the collectors and the dealers, then the solution to the problem is wholly with the collectors and the dealers. It's not with some other kind of product that you're going to spring on people. Well, it's your fault, but don't worry about it. I've got another solution. You can just sit there and not do anything except for giving me money and putting more money in my pocket because I'm going to have a product or a service that's going to solve this problem. No, just giving you the straight dope for what it is, that you don't need to go spend more money and to try another product or a service to solve the problem. Just be a part of the solution as a human being. Use human intelligence, and by increasing one another's human intelligence, we can have a human solution to a human problem, if it is a problem. And if you want to completely abandon PCGS and completely abandon NGC and completely abandon Annex, more power to you, man. I'm all for that. I love loose coins. I love raw coins. I love going out into the coiniverse and looking for really choice Morgan dollars that haven't been, maybe they have been encapsulated, maybe they have been graded or holdered at one point, but they're not right now. And trying to find these true, unmessed with, untampered with, uncleaned, problem-free, mint state uncirculated coins out there that are still going around. And some people will claim, oh well, if they're not in a holder, if they're not graded, then that in 2020 there's been so many years that have gone by, then there must be a problem with them. I hear a lot of that being parroted around too. I think that there are plenty of good coins floating around, and the goodness should be subjective and it should be your opinion. If you find a coin that's beautiful to you, if you find a coin that you really like for whatever the reason it is, it doesn't even matter what the reason is. If it's beautiful to you, it's beautiful. And it's as simple as that. And don't discount yourself as a collector. Don't discount yourself. Don't hold yourself down so low and hold these grading companies up so high, PCGS, NGC, all the rest of them, that they're like, God, and, we're just a bunch of plebes, that our opinions don't count. And if they give their blessing on a particular coin, well, then it is what it is, and that's the end of the story. We give them too much power. We need, as a community, need to give them less power. I love these collections of loose Morgan dollars. I think that more people should collect stuff like that. In fact, one of my best ideas for a Morgan collection would be to have a circulated collection. I want somebody to put together the most awesome circulated collection of Morgan dollars that anybody has ever seen before. And it could be every date and every mint, or it could be an annual collection just with every date. So in other words, you have every year that the Morgan dollar was minted. 1878, 1879, all the way through to 1904, and then in 1921. You don't worry about mints. It doesn't matter what mint it is, but just that you have every single year, and it's all circulated stuff. Put together the best circulated collection of loose raw Morgan dollars that anybody has ever seen before. That would be fantastic, man. That would be, I would love to see somebody's collection. If somebody put together something like that, I'm all in it, man. Send me that video. Send me that link. I would love to see your stuff.
So let's say someone submits it to us and we say, yes, we think this is a grade. So we send them an email. We think your coin's a grade, or maybe even a text. And I'm like, do we proceed to send it back to you, or would you like this reholdered in our holder? And they could say, oh, let's reholder it. So then we could charge for reholdering it and putting it in our holder.
Okay, well, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. That sounds to me like you're not necessarily doing anything for accuracy. You're not doing anything for consistency in the marketplace. What you're doing is you're raising the grades of coins, because somebody who isn't going to be offered a higher grade on your holder than what they already have on their holder, they're not going to pay you money to reholder their coin. They're not going to pay you to reholder their coin with a lower grade or even the same grade. So the grade is going to have to be higher. So therefore, the only grades or the only coins that you're going to reholder are the ones that get higher grades than that they already had already. So and that's how you're going to make your money. You're just going to make your money on raising grades in people by corresponding like that. That's almost like saying, well, PCGS and NGC would be better companies if they developed a business model where they would correspond with people over email, and you can send your photos of your coins, and we'll take a look at them, and we'll think that, we'll tell you what the grade is going to be, over email. And if we think that it's a high grade, we'll say, yeah, send that in. That looks like an MS63, or, oh, it's in an MS63 holder. Well, we think it's an MS64, so send that to us, and we'll, and that's going to somehow solve the problem. That's not doing anything in the name of consistency. All that's doing is it's muddying up the waters. It's raising the average grade of a lot of coins, and you're making money on nothing to do with consistency. You're just making money on higher grades.
And obviously, it would be recorded where it came from. It's, in other words, a chain of custody. This was in a PCI holder. We reholdered it. We found that it was the grade or consistent with the grade that was on the holder, and that's recorded in a database. So when someone resubmits that coin, it gets scanned again or whatever, then we know that's the same coin that has this track record. That way we know what's going on with the coins. And eventually, when thousands and tens and thousands of coins, or even millions, who knows, hundreds of thousands of coins, whatever, gets graded, then we're going to have this huge database, a track record of these coins, which I think is very important for the community. I think it will help develop that standard.
That sounds insidious to me. I don't know why in the world you should have such control, and that you should have such a stranglehold on the marketplace, where all of these coins that are in the Coiniverse are lodged into your database, and you know what coin this is because you have the technology, and you have all these automatons working in the background on your website. And if this coin gets passed through again, you'll say, aha, well, my computer's graded that coin in MS63, and now you're trying to put it off as an MS64. Well, that doesn't meet the standard. I mean, this is some really scary, tyrannical, insidious stuff, man. I don't know how this is going to solve anything other than just creating a monopoly in the marketplace that is just going to it's going to cause heavy damage to the coin collecting community in general, but it's also, in a proprietary sort of way, it's taking so much out of the liberty and the freedom of people to be independent-minded and independent. People are going to become reliant upon you. You're just replacing their reliance upon PCGS and NGC with reliance upon you. That's not going to solve anything. We're just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
So, and also, whenever something is found to be questionable color or cleaned or is not the grade, then it would offer an explanation, a written up explanation. And basically, every coin might be a little bit different, but it needs to be a reason behind that the coin didn't grade this grade because whatever holder it was in, we don't feel it's this grade because of this reason or that reason, and actually needs to be documented, saved in a database. If the coin's questionable color, or it's been cleaned, whatever it is, then that needs to be explained why it was cleaned. So we need to have this to be educational driven so people understand why they're getting the condition and the grade, the results back, let's put it that way, on their coins.
I do think that this is a good idea. I think that we can appeal to one of the graders that we have already to be able to start doing this for us as a value-added service. Now, you could take NX, for example. They already do VAM attributions. They will even do VAM research. If you think that you might have a VAM and you don't know what it is and you can pay the extra money for that coin, they will look into it for you. They will find what VAM it is for you, and they'll put it on the label and encapsulate it for you with that VAM number. So I don't see why they wouldn't be able to do the same thing with, if there is a problem coin, you can pay a little bit extra with your submission, provide for a value-added service to where if there is a clean coin, if there is a details coin, that they will be able to give you the explanation for what it is. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be able to do this. The reason why I bring up Anax is because if PCGS and NGC are too powerful, then we can appeal to an alternative in the market that already exists. I think Anax would be a great example. I think Anax is a fantastic company. I think they're just as good as PCGS and NGC, and I think that the reason why that they don't command the same prices that these other two companies do is just a matter of perception. I think marketing has something to do with it, but I think they may have had a quality control problem at some point. It dropped them down a peg. I think they can pick their quality control back up again, and I think they can raise themselves up a peg. And I think they can reach parity with PCGS and NGC again. And I think this would be, giving extra services like this, I think would be a great idea for Anax to do, or some of the other graders. It doesn't really matter which one picks it up. I think it's a great idea no matter who does it. But we don't need automatons, and we don't need artificial intelligence or databases or computers or any of this other stuff. In order to get a singular good idea like this, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to start over again from scratch. Just by collectors like me, you, and other people who might be watching this video to just put a little bit of pressure on one of the coin graders that we have now, I think Anax would be the best one to approach to start giving, just pay a couple extra bucks, whatever. Just have some type of a pricing structure where you pay a couple bucks extra, a few, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 bucks extra on your submission. And if there is a problem, then they will, give you a printout, or they'll give you some kind of a short report with a single sentence written down about why they came to the determination that your coin is a details.
I'm talking about. And that kind of stops the resubmissions to get a higher or lower grade. Okay, we're going to have coins that are going to come back in, and we're going to know that's the same coin, and it has to be the same grade. It has to stick with that standard. But yet, at that point, we can say, okay, hold on, what's going on here? And continue to develop that standard so that it is as close to a standard as possible. So that's kind of like some of my solutions to the problem. And I think people will start trusting in a company that allows you to send coins in no matter what. Okay, no matter what grade, no matter what holder they're in, they're going to check the grade for you. They're going to send you back the reasons why we thought that was that grade, the reason we thought it was artificial toned, or why it was cleaned, or why we thought it should upgrade, and that kind of thing. And then give you the opportunity to have it upgraded.
Here we go again. We're talking about the problem. And what in the world gives you the right, uniquely, exclusively, what gives you the right to be able to give somebody an upgrade when you're going to have their coin in your database, and if they try to upgrade it somewhere else, so if they go to PCGS, or if they go to NGC, or if they go to Anax or whatever, and they upgrade their coin, you said it was your computer said that it was an MS64, but they went to Anax, and Anax says it's an MS65. Well, how dare they? I mean, this is so presumptuous. I mean, who do you think you are to be able to just override all this other stuff, to just run over everything and run over everybody that, oh, you know best, and you're legitimate, and you know what it is, and what in the world is this? No, okay, you need to come back down to earth and get down in the trenches with the rest of us where you belong. And you don't have the right to dictate to anybody what this is and what that is and what people can do and what people can't do. People can do whatever they want, and people hopefully will do whatever they want. People need to get their freedom back. People need to get back in touch with their humanity. People need to get excited again. You need to get excited again about this hobby. You don't want to just wash it all away and just take the blood and the heat and the light out of this hobby so it's just dead, and you have this reign of control. I mean, this is tyranny. This is like some kind of a Marxist socialist utopia where you're the dictator of what everybody's coins should be, and you have the computers and you have the database. This is moral hazard, I hate to say. This is one of the greatest moral hazards, and it's just a hobby. I don't think people are going to live and die. But if we care about the hobby, we can't let tyranny like this take over. I mean, this is replacing a lesser tyranny with a greater tyranny. So in closing, and with regards to whether or not the big coin graders, PCGS and NGC, have too much power over us, I think that yes, they do. I think they do have a lot of power. I think that the solution to this problem, such as it is a problem, I think the solution is us. I think the solution is me, and the solution is you. I don't think that we're going to have a future in the coin hobby of sending photographs to somebody's website, and then we got to get it sized right, and we got to get the devices lined up in all the outlines, and we got to make sure that it's clear enough, and we got to make sure that it's straight enough, and then let their computer decide for us what our grade is. I mean, if we're so concerned about NGC and PCGS having too much power over us and the grades that they're giving our coins and the values, that corresponding values that they're putting on our coins, if we're that concerned about that and we're complaining, we need to have more ability ourselves. The solution to this is self-empowerment, learning, and getting the ability to be able to grade our own coins. And we can do it. It's not that hard. I mean, you have the coin in your own hand. If you own a coin, there it is right in front of you in flesh and blood, the real thing. You don't even have to take a photograph of it. You just use your eyeballs. You're looking at it. Okay, you have the best vantage point. You don't have to spend any extra time trying to prepare photographs and send things to websites and computers and artificial intelligence. Use your own human intelligence. Use your own natural intelligence in your own eyes, in your own brain, to look at your own coin and make a determination of what you think the value is, and be honest with yourself about it. Don't try to make the coin better than what it is. Don't try to make the coin worse than what it is, but use your own best ability, and you will be able to hone this ability. You'll be able to refine this ability in time and get better and better and better. If you're interested in the hobby and you're in the hobby, you should be doing this anyway. I mean, it should be happening as just a natural evolution. Your skills should be getting better through time. Whether you don't even have to be necessarily trying to get better. Just naturally, without even trying, your ability should be getting better and better. But if you work at it, if you practice with it and you work at it and you try your best, you'll get a lot better a lot faster. And that's the real solution to this problem here. The solution is you. The solution is me. The solution is all of us. We can take the power back as collectors from the coin graders and from the large dealers if we try and if we choose to do so. And so, but it has to be organic. It has to be grassroots, and it has to begin with us. We can do it. We just have to have the will to do so. And once we have the will, all of the resources are at our disposal. There are so many resources for pricing. There's so many resources now for grading. We can be more knowledgeable at any other time in history. Right now, if we have internet access and we have a computer, we can use our computer, the artificial intelligence in our own homes, to increase the human intelligence inside of our own heads. Trusting in ourselves, by trusting in one another, by trusting in our passion, by having compassion for others, by having interest and sharing our interest back and forth between collectors and dealers. If you have a question about a coin that you have, take it to your local coin shop. Take it to your local dealer and say, hey, I got this coin. What do you think about this? Just hand it to them and see what they say about it. You might not even have a specific question. You can just look at it and say, yeah, that looks like a legit peace dollar. That looks like a legit Franklin half dollar, whatever. Take your coin to them and just show them what you got. If you have some questions, take it into the dealer, have them answer your question. You don't need robots and computers and artificial intelligence and all websites and databases and all this crap. Just enjoy yourself and be a human being and share your knowledge and share your curiosity and share your passion with other human beings. That's what's going to save this hobby. That's the problem that we have economy-wide. And so let's fight this horrible, dehumanizing, digitizing, automated trend that's coming right at us in every little way we can. And my little video here is just one little way that we can fight back a little tiny bit when it's just a little tiny thing, it's just a little tiny hobby. And we can expand this idea into a lot of other marketplaces and a lot of other industries out there. But, we can start here. You got to start somewhere. You start small. We can start here. Let's empower one another. Let's educate one another. Let's put faith, hope, and trust and love in one another to make the hobby a better place and humanize this hobby and warm this hobby up. That's the way to save the hobby, with our passion, with our enthusiasm, and with our faith and belief in one another and ourselves. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. Guess some of those grades of the coins that I present in the video. Tell me what you think they are. It'd be interesting to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you very much for watching.